Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Unstoppable with me, your host, Kerwin Ray, and we are starting off with a bang. Today we are going to be diving deep and wide into the huge teeth whitening sensation brand HiSmile's and the two gentlemen behind it, Nik and Alex, and their story is one of absolute amazement. They have grown this business from $20,000 when they started to $60 million in just 3 short years, and the secret to their success has been influencer marketing. They have worked with such influencers as Conor McGregor, Kylie Jenner, Kendall Jenner, just to name a few. We're going to be talking about not only influencer marketing, but how they deal with failure, how they create discipline, and what their pick is when it comes to work ethic or talent. There is so much value in this one. You guys are going to have your ears bleeding by the end of it. Stay tuned, listen up, here we go.
Kerwin, thanks for having us.
It's great to have you guys here. Now, you guys have kind of come out of nowhere, and I got to say, like, you guys only came on my radar last year, and what got you on my radar was the promo you did with Conor McGregor, and I was like, how the fuck did this? Because it was quite raw. Yeah. You know, the video still was quite raw. Yep. You know, it was quite guerrilla. I'll call it guerrilla style, and I was like, wow, this is quite interesting. And then I started doing a little bit of research, and I saw you boys pop up on the you guys on the rich under 40 list.
Yeah, the AFR list. Yeah,
that's a pretty good feat. What number did you boys hit on that?
40. We're around the 40s. We were 47th on the list, I think.
Yeah, fuck number 46. Honestly, he's a pretender. He's a fraud. I'm telling you.
Exactly.
But to do that in such a short period of time, because you boys only launched your business in 2014, December, right?
December 2014.
And this year, your revenues are going to be, if you don't mind me asking, is that a sensitive?
No, we're aiming for about 60 million this year.
60 million this year. That's fucking mad. So to go from, I believe you started with a $20,000 investment.
Yep,
correct.
10,000 each.
And that was in December 2014. What are we now? 2018. So that's like fucking 3 years.
Yeah.
And you've gone from $0 to $60 million. That's fucking superhuman in itself. Where did it start? How did it all happen? I want to know.
So basically, myself and Alex were sitting at a family dinner, and we were just discussing all things sort of business, life, marketing, advertising in particular, and branding. We're always obsessed with brands, big brands in particular.
So you boys have been friends for a while?
Yeah, family friends for 10 years.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, we're just discussing things, and we're looking how influencers were pushing products on Instagram, pushing different products. And that sort of caught our attention and sparked a bit of talk between us. And lo and behold, we sort of discussed industries, and then after a bit of chatter, we realized there was a lack of brand in the oral hygiene, oral cosmetic game. So we thought, okay, if we can get the right connections, we can hit up the right people and put enough work and create an actual brand that stood for something. That's how we can sort of penetrate the market.
That's pretty fucking smart, because when you think about it, like teeth whitening, it's everywhere. It's been a big game for a long time.
Definitely.
But you're 100% right. There was no dominant brand. There was no dominant player in the market.
Not a brand that people actually like wanted to associate
resonated
them.
with.
Yeah, resonate
let's
or
be honest,
associate
we don't
themselves
resonate with Colgate.
No, absolutely,
Like,
it's convenient, and they're in the stores. They've got that thing to them, but they're not a brand that you love and emotionally can connect.
And you nailed it right there. Because when you think of Colgate, like I literally think of a cardboard box with like 3 different colours on it. I don't think of a feeling. I don't think of an emotion.
Yeah.
And if I was to go even further, and they'll probably hate me for this, I think of toxic waste that you're putting into your mouth to make it smell better.
50 different toothpastes.
Exactly.
Which is telling you something in itself.
Yeah.
What's each one counteracting or selling or doing? They're not really congruent with what they're doing. They're just trying to dominate shelf space.
Exactly.
And this is the thing. So what we figured out was these brands are making products for the supermarkets. They're not making it for the customer or the end customer.
Yeah.
So we've reinvented how do we essentially distribute our products direct to the customer and make products for the customer and brand it and make it something that people actually want to associate themselves with. So that's sort of been what we've done for the last 3 years and being consistent.
And I hate to say this, but it's on one hand it's ingenious, but on the other hand I'm just sitting there going, fuck.
Yeah.
Why didn't someone else see it?
Yeah.
And again, it's not my space, I wouldn't play there, but it's just like, fuck, why didn't someone see this sooner?
But there's still so many markets and companies and brands that still operate like that. And you just have to find that's...
And I think that's what's interesting for anyone, because a lot of people listening go, 0 to 60. I could never do that. But all you did is you did some basic reconnaissance. Okay, what industries are there right now? What products are there right now where there's no real brand representation? There's no emotional hook.
Exactly.
And there are literally hundreds of top businesses right now that are lining up at the guillotine.
Yeah.
Because the couple of young punks like you are going to come into their industry and are going to completely fuck them up.
Do you know what it is? It's their biggest strength that is their biggest weakness.
Yeah.
It's a fact that they have this monopoly and they have the shop space and they occupy so much that's actually killing them. They don't have to constantly bring new things to the table. And that's that's what
Okay.
we see. And
So 0 to 60 million, 3 years, stupendously impressive, no doubt, superhuman feat. But what I'm curious to know is, okay, what's the background? Because there's, and obviously I'm in the education space. I started buying, building, selling business almost 20 years ago. I worked out I was relatively good at it, friend touring for a little while. But what I've worked out is I can give two people the same information and one person will go and make tens of millions of bucks. And the other person will sit there and bitch and moan and say, it doesn't work. And what I've discovered is, it rarely comes down to the idea. It really comes down to the
100%.
It always comes down to the guy with the real estate, the 6 inches between his head that's been developed for a period of time. And it's like that, it's the timing meets opportunity meets fuck the luck shit, right? And then boom. So I want to know your backgrounds.
For me personally, in terms of what I think gives me that is I've never been interested in scratchies, raffle tickets, betting. I've never been interested in anything that contained luck. Never, ever, ever. Not just since this business started, but never have. I've never entertained, if someone said, if someone could give you $1 million, I truly can honestly say I wouldn't want to accept it because I know it wouldn't benefit me. Money isn't what drives me. I am the most competitive human being you've ever met. I love competing.
Hands
from
down.
from a young age. It was.
You're a soccer player, right?
Yeah, I played.
right.
Yeah, so I still play it now,
Yeah.
but I obviously took it more seriously in the younger days. But my father, since I was 1, would always compete with me and would never let me win. So just constantly pushing me, whether he did it on purpose or whether that was just his competitive nature too, because I think that's the way I'd raise my kids too, just because that's the way I am. But whether we were wrestling from a young age, he would never make it easy for me. He would always make it difficult. And that instilled two things. That instilled the competitive nature and the will and want to win. Also thinking that I wasn't as good as I actually think I am. Like while I could be beating the kids my age, but it kept me humble and always knew there was a bigger picture in sight. So running the marathon.
It's interesting. Gary Vaynerchuk actually talks about exactly the same thing. He talks about playing foosball or basketball with his young son, and he's like, he refuses to let him win no matter how upset the kid gets, because he goes, I want him to.
You're ingraining that winning
That's
mentality.
it, because that's what's required.
And in business, it does not have to happen more than business. It's super critical.
Because one of the things
ultimate
and you probably know this from sport, and I want to find out more about your background in a minute as well, but life's tough.
God, yeah.
And that's the reality of the situation. And it's tough for everyone. Everyone's story is different, but unique. It comes down to the individual and how they develop their relationship with failure. What does failure mean to you? So you come from a background, because you went and trained with the Celts.
Yeah, I was with Celtic over in Scotland. So I had a lot of rejection throughout my sort of football, soccer career. From a young age, I played for a number of different teams. Some were the winning teams that went through undefeated. Some were teams that won 2 or 3 games in the season. And I stuck to the game and I stuck to the team and I stuck through it all. So having the grit and determination to be there when the side's not so good, playing up a year, playing against a better opposition, but not playing in the best side, to playing in the best teams, I've had it all. So I've had the pat on the back and also the kick in the ass, because my family, like my grandfather would never, if I scored 3 goals, there was always the negative aspect, which for some people...
The critique.
Yeah, the critique. Yeah. For some people can't handle that. But for me, because I think I had enough of the positive from my grandmother and enough of the negative from my grandfather, that it was balanced. So in my mind now, when I do something, naturally, I don't need someone to tell me. I'll pat myself on the back for a second, but then straight away kick myself in the ass, because it doesn't matter how well you're going. Like you said, turning over $60 million, there's always something you can do to be better, or to take it to the next level. And that's the excitement of business and the grit that keeps you going. So I think that's the...
So what's your background, Alex?
So straight out of school, I did 6 months of university, and I was just in university, and there was something deep in me that I was just hungry to.
You did the business degree, right? You
were studying, the commerce and international business degree, and it was just coming to me that whatever we're learning now is not forward thinking. It's not thinking, okay, what's happening 5-10 years in advance. And for me, I was always very critical of why successful businesses were successful and others weren't in the same scope, and why certain businesses that had monopolies just didn't succeed. And I was always able to understand why. And I was just hungry, and I knew straight into business I wasn't learning more of that. I was sort of learning unproductive ways of the color red makes you sell more, like things that are not, but things that are not relevant to me, just putting my teeth into it and being 100% dedicated to it.
Do you guys like reading books?
Yeah.
Jim Collins, you read anything by Jim Collins?
Not.
If you like the comparison stuff, great by choice.
Okay.
It's a comparison over like 20, 30 years of companies that 10x the market and the ones that didn't. And the case studies
they're the thing, that's what I like sink my teeth in. I've always just
what
naturally.
Is the fundamental difference?
Exactly.
But I'm curious to know, there's got to be a level of, there must have been a discipline that you involved yourself in at some point. Like, were you involved in sport? Were you involved
always.
In
I was always, since I was very, very young, always in sport, and always just like always had deep in me, I had to be, whatever it is.
Yep.
And this is how my parents have always raised me, whatever it is. They didn't really say I had to do this or that, but whatever it is, I have to be the best at it.
Yeah,
and I have to push myself to be the best at it.
So what was the sport that you
I played football and I played Aussie rules, AFL.
AFL, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
so I played AFL when I was really young, between 12 and 16.
Yep.
Excelled at that, loved that. And then for me, we're of European background and I just love football. I loved watching football, and I found that was where my interest was. So I played a bit of football, loved it, but sport, it just wasn't for me. And then from there I was really into like academics and into books and all different things like that. And then that's when I went to university, and I went out with one understanding, and when I was there, it was completely different. And that's where 6 months in, I had to have that. So for me, my parents were very big on, okay, university means a lot, and by all means, it does, absolutely. There's fundamentals,
or a lawyer,
absolutely. But for me, it wasn't. And if for you, you have to reassess yourself on an individual level. What do you want to be in?
Yeah.
And it was all fine, but my mum put one moral in me when I said I want to leave uni.
Yeah.
If you leave, you be 100% concrete what you want to do and make something from yourself from today.
Yeah, right.
Not to just leave and hope for the best.
Hope for the best.
It's never hope for the best. You go and you grind and you find what you do, what you love. So that's when...
has discipline played a theme in your life?
Enormously.
Yeah.
Enormously.
Because what's really interesting, 1992, Forbes magazine did a study. They went back like 50 years of the top CEOs, the top 95% of CEOs, top 5% of CEOs of Fortune 500 companies for like 50 years, and they discovered that there was 3 traits. They either had a background in either professional competitive sports over time, military, or martial arts for extended periods of time, which is that fundamental, right?
Absolutely.
That discipline. And so that's why I
from a
wasn't
young
surprised.
age.
Yeah.
For me, like with the football, like I took that so seriously. I would wake up as soon as I got my P's. I think I was 17 or 16 or 17, and I would drive at 3:30. I'd be there at 4 a.m. at an underground car park when it's pitch black. They had a light, like a BWS on the Gold Coast in Burleigh.
Yeah, right.
An underground car park, and I'd kick the ball against the wall there because no one was there. So I'd just be able to kick the ball against the wall, finish by from 4 till about 6, go home, have a shower, eat, go to school. So I'd make sure, like, wherever I was, I wanted to kick the ball.
And I think that's the difference between someone that can make something work and someone that can't. Because and this is what I say to people, who's read a book to learn how to make more money before? Okay, yeah, everyone. Who's been to a seminar to learn how to make more money before? Yeah,
exactly.
Everyone. Why the fuck are you still here? Because something's missing, and it all comes down to me. It's that 6 inches between your ears. But let's take a flip back to the business for a second. You guys got a great history, competitive, high levels of discipline. The parents instilled to you that you have to win regardless. But what I'm curious to know is you approached this business strategically from the beginning. You didn't just go, let's just get into dental oral hygiene because there's no major brand there. But I listened to what you said. You said we started looking at influencer marketing, and we're looking at the different opportunities that were available. So what was it that made you click on to influencer marketing? Why?
It was a good way to get someone, rather than the brand pushing the voice, it was a good way to get someone else pushing the voice for the brand.
People.
Yeah, right.
And getting that to the mass market and connecting and having, there's a chance someone's friends with that person, they're testing the product out, they're going to tell them about it, plus they're going to post it to their following. And the more people you have doing that, it just makes sense. It gets out there quicker. Especially at the time that we did it, there weren't as many brands flooding the feed, and we did it in a tactical way. It wasn't like the brands that are now making it so obvious that it's a sponsored post or that the product's been sent to them. Actually get them to review it. Yeah. Some people leave negative reviews. Make sure your product is good first and foremost, and they won't leave a negative review. They'll love the experience and they'll share that with their following. So I think that's a key to it too.
Because it's almost like the modern day joint venture, isn't it? Like where there's a mutually beneficial scenario in exchange for some form of endorsement or promotion.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So I'm curious to know, you started with 20 grand. Okay. Who was your first big influencer?
So our first big influencer, so this was prime time when Big Brother was on.
Right.
This was, I think it was the last season of Big Brother.
Could have been, yeah.
And hope it is.
So before that, to quickly pave the way, if we just went and got the first Big Brother, it would not have worked as well as what it did. So first what we did, we got our product to probably 300-400 people within the first month. We knew from the start.
Influencers or
influencers?
customers? Right.
Influencers. We knew it's a numbers game. So first, let's get this to absolutely everybody that we possibly can. Share your thoughts about this product because we believed it so much.
I want to break this down. So
Okay.
you didn't go into these people and go, look, if you promote my product, I'm going to give you some cash.
No.
You literally just said, here's a free product.
And this is a difference that I'm finding with businesses
Yeah.
that are coming saying, tell me about influencer marketing. Who's the best, who's not? And I have one thing to say. You have to hit up absolutely every single person you can for the first 6 months and literally treat it as though they are going to build your brand. And what I find is that they do 50, they do 100, they just communicate and they say, oh, I've done it, I've started, and straight away you just sense that they're not doing it 100%. You have to dedicate, if you want to do influencer marketing, the same way if you want to do anything, you have to do it 100%.
You have to be all
So
in.
so we went all in. We said, okay, let's just go 100%. When we got to 300, let's get to 1,000. When we get to, we now probably have
Most people don't have one
5,000.
influencer. You guys hit
Good,
300 influencers in the first few months.
We've probably had 20,000 influencers work with
Now,
HiSmile's.
can I get this clear? This is you're giving the product to them for free.
Not now. It's
Back in the early
back
days.
in the early days. It was
Yeah.
for free, and every now and then some would say, give us a price, and we'd review it. We'd put that slightly to the side for
Yeah.
that month 2 or month 3 when it then made sense to pay people to then start getting the reward. But we saw the first 2-3 months was brand building.
Yeah, right.
At that time, we had the Big Brother went.
So of those 300, there were some Big Brother people in there.
So there was 2 Big Brother. First one was Sky Wheatley
Yep.
and Aisha Jade.
Right.
So Sky Wheatley was the first one. So how it happened, Sky Wheatley first posted and we saw instantly people were to the website. And that's when sales started really ticking through.
Yeah, right.
So we had that built base of 300 who sparked, what's this? What's HiSmile? We were very tactical to package the product very intelligently to spark an interest.
Yep.
No one boxed teeth whitening kit. No one made it appealing. So we knew what we were doing it. So we did that. It succeeded. We got Sky Wheatley, and then we got straight away. We saw Sky Wheatley there was attention there. She has a core group of people who loved everything she did. Aisha Jade also, so we got her review this product, and from then that's when it's really started to grow and build from there.
So at what point did you then, because that's really fucking smart, I've got to say, but at what point did you get to the level where the revenue met the demand, but also the profitability
Yeah, well, like it made sense, and we started making back.
Because a lot of people go, well, fuck, I don't know, how long can I afford to do that before I go
Correct.
broke?
Yeah, well, for us, our strategy worked well because we were quick to adapt. It wasn't like, let's send it to 300 people. It was like, okay, a few people would post week 1, week 2, week 3, and we'd adapt the strategy of the posting style and things like that on the move. We weren't lazy with it. You've got to stay on your toes and constantly adapt. So I'd say probably 8 months in, we really started to realize that we could be profitable with this.
And what were the platforms, the major platforms? Was it just
Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram?
Just
Instagram.
At the start.
At the very beginning, it was just Instagram.
Right, but you guys have, I've checked you out, obviously, Facebook.
Our Facebook is huge.
You guys
On
are
the ad
dominating.
platform, there's no one that really has looked and delved as deep as what we could with the Facebook ad platform, and it's second
But also
to
your
none.
organic does quite well as well, from what I've seen. Unless you're not sponsoring every post, are you?
We sponsor majority of our posts, but organically,
Even the funny shit.
the funny stuff we've sort of tailored back on the funny stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, we would put a little bit of budget to it.
Yeah, right.
Just because you sort of need to give it a little kick,
Yep.
just to give it that sort of extra bit.
So
of go
did you
on
guys ever
Facebook.
sit back and wait to see what posts would move?
No.
And you just would
We
kick
we
it.
kick it straight away, and that's the other thing. We move so quickly. We're quick to go, but we're quick to pull back.
We're so reactive.
We're really quick.
So how long did it take before you guys were actually making profit?
I'll probably say 6 months in, but
6
then
months.
straight away with that profit, it wasn't profit and say, hey, you know what? Well done. Like it was that is going straight back.
Boom.
And this is
Drop
the
the
thing.
fucking mic. We could finish the interview right there, because again, that's where most people fuck it
Exactly.
up. Right?
This is the thing. And when businesses come and say advice, it's like, okay, first 6 months, you have to be very comfortable to just look to build brand, react, build, and don't look back. Just look forward and constantly move.
The other key thing I think with a business is you don't go, obviously you want to make money, but you don't go into it wanting to make money, because you'll make more money in the first year working for somebody. For sure, guaranteed. First couple of years generally it takes before you can actually start making good money from it if you do it well. But you don't go into business originally unless you've got a passion behind something within that business that's going to drive you and push you through the grip, because at the start, you're putting your own money towards it. So you're not going to have the luxuries of driving the nice car and all these fancy things that people see some of the entrepreneurs and business owners appreciating and living now. They sort of see where they're at now, but they don't see the hard work that they went through and living sort of eating takeout meals, going to bed at almost midnight, waking up at 3 a.m., then having to work again. So working off like 3-4 hours sleep and then constantly
and
rinse
not
and
make
repeat,
and
rinse
at
and
the
repeat.
start not making money. So this is the thing, you have to love, like this is what I'm saying, you have to love it and live it to actually then make. Because what's going to happen, you're going to be challenged out of your ass for the first 6 months and a year. You're not going to love it, you're not going to have the lavish things. But what will happen once you...
I love it who says 6 months a year. Like my talk track is 5 to 10 years.
For sure.
But you guys have clearly fucking broken the mold.
We did like 14, 15 hour... Like I'm saying, if you want to like go as fast as you can, and 6 months to a year, that's like you said, fast. It does not happen for the general person. But even then, it's still, you're putting back in and you're just looking to build this machine.
And I don't think people realize how money fucks them up. Like the focus on money.
Yeah.
And you've only got to go to social psychology, Carol DeWeck's work, Dan Pink's work, Chick Me, Semi High. You know, they've discovered through enormous levels, like 40, 50 years, 60 years worth of research, the people that focus on money are 8 times more likely to engage in deceit, deception, and fraud-related behaviors.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Okay, but also they're 6 times more likely to experience stress-related illness.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the focus on money, it actually fucks people up. It narrows their perspective.
Definitely.
But also when you guys explain, now the first 6, 18 months, you're not going to be making money. If that's your focus, you'll be depressed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you won't think clearly.
If that's your focus, then you're failing.
Yeah.
Because your objective is to make money. First 6 to 18 months, you failed because you haven't made money.
So what point did you guys go, fuck, this is working, we need to scale?
We saw that attention was there, and we saw that like a vast like majority were interested in our brand and in our product and the way that we were doing it. So from there, it was really once we started to scale. So we'll just build, like we figured out.
What does scale mean to you boys? Just so we're talking the same language. When you
For
talk
us, scale meant how do we take it from an at-home business to then adding staff, and how can we leverage what we know?
Yeah, right.
And the way we did that before we started to delegate was understanding each part of the business. We didn't outsource our marketing because that was the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
That's the easiest thing to do, but it's a surefire way to not understand what's truly delivering results, and you can't come back to the root cause to avert things.
And you can't manage it. If you don't know it, you can't manage it.
Exactly. I've been involved in Facebook advertising. I know how Facebook ads work, and to this day I can still have a conversation with the person who runs Facebook ads in the company.
Yep.
Because I understand it. Alex, same thing on the logistics side, on the cash flow side. We've touched every base so we can have conversations with everyone before we delegated. We didn't bring in the best marketer in the world.
Yep. You know, it's interesting because oftentimes people think scaling is, in some cases, just investing more in the business to make more money. Whereas the reality, for what we've learned, what you've just described, scaling is putting the infrastructure, putting the talent in place.
Definitely.
Because why do you think most people get into business? Because they want to have more freedom, which is the very thing they often sacrifice, right?
Exactly.
And scale is how do I put the things in place so I don't have to do the 15, 18-hour days.
Exactly.
So I'm curious to know, like, when you started to scale, because and I say this, most scale equals freedom, but that's where most people fail because they don't scale. They get to a point where they're making money, but they take the money off the table, they don't put it into scale, and then 5 years later the industry's changed. So for how long? And you guys only been on 3 years, so it's an incredible story. But at what point did you start going, okay, maybe we'll start, I know you got the C63s, great car, got one myself, stupidly fast, but at what point did you start going, okay, now we can maybe start taking a little bit of money off the table, and not just throw everything back in?
It was probably, 18 months in.
Yeah,
I'd say 18 months.
And relative, you guys at 18 months, what were you turning over?
What did we turn
On
over?
18 months, it was
10?
about 14.
$14 million.
Yeah.
So not 18 months turning over $250,000. Now we're going to take money off the table.
It was literally nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing until that 18
So basically
month period.
living, just take the basic
But
cost
you know
of
what?
living.
We're like, I don't need those things. I'm
Yeah.
so happy with every part of my life that
Yeah.
it's not a necessity.
Yeah.
That just adds to the joy. And it's a remind. It honestly is a reminder of, okay, yeah, we've achieved that so far. It's a small end, but let's keep moving. Like,
And I think that's the genius. Like, because when you're not attached to money, you're fucking dangerous. Because when you are attached to money, you're afraid of losing
correct.
it.
God,
and
yeah.
then you're limited to the
And
actions
the
that
moves
you
you
make.
make as well are very different to the moves you make when you've got that freedom and you're not thinking of that. When you're thinking of pushing the business, you're okay with backing a ad campaign with a couple $100,000 or actually testing, A/B testing. You're not just going for what's worked in the past. You're testing things that potentially haven't worked or you haven't tried before to then hopefully grow it even bigger.
I was just thinking, you guys need like a turtle. You need a Johnny Drama. Like you almost like you be the entourage. Because it just reminded me what we're talking about here of that saying that Vincent Chase said. He goes, "I come from nothing, and as much as I love the toys, I can really live without them."
Exactly.
And I think that's, and again, when you look at the way he plays out, which is obviously very much how Wahlberg himself played his acting career, he just wasn't attached. And it's not that he didn't care, just wasn't. And I think there's a difference.
Correct. There's a huge difference. Like by all means, I love those things, but they don't dictate me making any decision, and I'm fine. I'm super happy without it. But it's a fine line between relying on that and just ignoring it as though it's nothing. It's neither. It's right in the middle, just being comfortable with where you are right now, not making.
So are you guys at the point now, and again, a personal question, we can cut it if we need to. Are you guys at the point now where you're still heavily investing back into the business to take because I know your goal is $1 billion business, is that right?
Correct.
Love it.
We're still heavily investing back into the business. We very rarely take anything off the table unless it's for the personal brand or putting into something else to grow. But pretty much HiSmile's its own machine. We don't seek money from investors.
So you've got no investors?
No investors.
None.
That's
how nice is that?
There's been tough decisions too.
Yeah.
But you know what? When you love this the way that you do and sacrificing that love to then make decisions based on money.
You guys are like me. You can't be told what to do.
No.
Absolutely
not. You'll throw
And
it around.
but the way that we move, it does not work in a way that needs approval and slows down the process. Like we move so quickly on, like we can make a decision on the biggest ad campaign that we've ever done in 30 minutes because we feel it and we understand that works with us and we move. We don't waste time ever.
So you mentioned something interesting there. You said we feel it. Like is intuition, is gut instinct, is that something that's played a role in your success?
That's played probably the biggest role to date.
Interesting.
Yeah, and literally, I'll bring this up this week. We're breaking down the brand, and there was one thing that we couldn't get across. We could see someone would produce an ad internally, and if they haven't spent a lot of time at HiSmile, they don't really understand our gut feeling. But we'll see the ad, and we'll just from the gut, we'll say it's not right. But we put that into words. So basically, what the words are, what the way me and Alex live our lives, and the way we start any company that we're to start, not just teeth whitening, is the product or the service or the brand must be simple, stylish, and an experience. So it must tick all three boxes. If it ticks two, it's not us. So that's the gut instinct, being able to now relay
measurable. So for us, it's always been hard. How do we scale our gut instinct? But it's because that's the thing that's been so successful. We at all times, I know if something's right or off instantly.
But that's culture at its core.
That was a good 2 weeks of let's dig deeper. What is it that has made every decision the way that it has, and why have we been so successful up until now? What have we based every decision around? The more we dug, it came down to three key factors, not only the business, but how we on a personal level live our lives and do things. I always look for something very simple, very easy, very clean, convenient, stylishly done, very stylish. So the difference between the style and the not stylish is something very cheap and simple, but it needs that character, it needs style.
It's like, would you give that product as a gift?
Yeah.
You wouldn't give Colgate as a gift.
Would you be? No, but would you be?
There's not a chance you would give another teeth whitening.
Yeah.
It would almost be an offense.
Yeah.
Like you need to whiten your teeth.
No shit.
And that's adding
Do you
the
know what I
style.
mean?
Yeah.
But now, around the Christmas period, why would a teeth whitening company around Christmas go insane? There's no reason other than people are gifting this product.
And you mentioned the stylish. You actually have an unboxing experience.
Absolutely.
So you've got and I just whispered the iPhone experience. You've created the iPhone experience for a teeth whitening product.
Yeah.
What was was it a Steve Jobs move? Was it something that was calculated or?
It was calculated.
Absolutely.
It was Apple inspired, but you look at Apple, the way Apple do it, Louis Vuitton, some of the better brands, and how are their products? Why can Louis Vuitton sell a pair of sneakers no better than Nike, no better than the other brands, but they're selling theirs for $1,200 as a comparison to $150. It's purely the experience, the service, the top to bottom. We're not trying to be Louis Vuitton as an $80 product, so we know our niche, but it's still taking inspiration from those brands and understanding what they've done. Apple, same thing. How can they charge what they charge for their products? Top to bottom, the experience. When you walk into the store, the service, the look, the feel of the product. Like I was just reading the other day, that little cutout on the iPhone X at the top that looks imperfect was actually a strategic move to differentiate it from all the other smartphones. So when app developers were creating black bars at the top to sort of block that out so the app would just play full screen, they said, no, we want you to play full screen properly. And that will cut it out. It may look imperfect, but that's a way that you distinguish the iPhone from any other phone in the market.
Yeah, fucking smart.
And the white earphones, they're actually impractical. White gets dirty, but they realized that no one had white. So when you see white earphones in back in the day, it stands out. Like those old silhouette ads where you saw the white string coming down and they're dancing. That was a tactical move. They weren't trying to be the best. They were just trying to be different.
Yeah.
Because
Stand
anyone
out.
can be the best.
Yeah.
It's easy to come out and bring the next teeth whitening kit and just double the dose. Obviously, there's safety issues and things like that, but you can be better. You can have a better phone.
Build
than
a better
Apple.
mousetrap.
Always.
Yeah.
But if you're different, that's how people can't play your game.
So scaling, you're talking about how do you scale intuition, which is, it's a fucking great question, but it's almost impossible because it's asking someone to take all of your knowledge, all of your experience, all of your instincts and duplicate it. Not impossible, but very, very difficult to do. But what I am curious to know is how have you scaled your team as a couple of young blokes yourselves? And I'm going to assume most of the people you hire, except for your finance team, are probably either around your age or maybe slightly older.
Slightly older, yeah, you're right.
Is it your finance team that's slightly older?
No, or like, roughly around the age and like
you have any
probably
dinosaurs
average
in
at
your
20. No.
You don't have any old fellas like me in the business. Okay, so how do you scale a business with a bunch of young people that's been driven by young people that in most cases haven't had any experience in scaling a business? Because I've worked with business owners that are veterans. They've been in business 10 years, 15 years, in some cases 20 years, and they still don't know how to scale talent because they haven't learned how to either get out of their own way or learn how to lead. What's the secret for you boys? How many team do you have, firstly?
A team 39.
39?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
I think the biggest thing, and it has to come from the top down, the work ethic. For us, the most important thing. So we don't look at it as a traditional cookie cutter. Okay, if you have these preconceived talents, then you're just good.
Yep.
You have to be there to work and to love to work every single day because it comes from the top down. And it doesn't just, let's just get these people who have all the talent and just hope for the best and hope they are the right person for that. No,
right.
It comes from a deep understanding from us to then understand, okay, this, and we like work harder than everybody.
Yeah.
That's what sort of drives the people and everybody else to then strive for that goal.
So I'm going to assume you've got a reasonable turnover rate? Because I know...
At the start we did. And
Yep.
the thing is, we've gone through a lot of staff that are super talented, but what Alex said, the work ethic, and the reason we pick work ethic over talent is if the talent's not willing to work, things change that quickly. Facebook advertising, just think of Facebook itself, the back end and the way you run ads changes every single day, week, every single month. It's constantly changing the platform, whether it's a micro change or a massive change. You have to stay on the pulse. We're constantly adjusting budgets on that. So if you're talented, but you're not willing to work, you're going to be a disaster for us. But if you're not talented and you're willing to put in the work and constantly learn and stay on top of it, you're going to be the absolute best for us.
Because it's interesting. I hate using the word staff because to me, staff is a pole that you use in combat to strike another person. Talent, describes people that do what they do not because they're getting paid, but because they absolutely love what they do and they love to apply themselves to it.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we've worked out in this business, and this has been an issue for it's been an observation for 20 years. We have a reasonable turnover rate of team because what we've discovered, two things. First of all, people can interview really well. Like some people are like professionals.
Oh, they come in
For sure.
They say all the right things.
And this is the thing. This is the biggest key to why we've been quite successful up until now, in the way that we hire. And when it was just us doing the hiring, it would simply be a conversation.
Yeah.
First and second round interviews was purely conversational to see how are you as a person first.
Yeah.
Then we get into the deep stuff.
Yeah. Then
So
you get
for
into
us,
the
there's
skills.
I can always gauge, and again, it comes down to that just deep understanding. I always gauge on conversational level, what type of person are you and what do you believe? How are you as a person? Do you have the same morals and the same vision that we sort of have? And I can always sense that from conversations.
Yeah. And it's a part of the instinct as well.
Exactly.
So I classify it as the high performer factor. Like the high performance factor is what I'm looking for anytime I'm trying to hire talent. But what I've discovered is that people either are high performers, want to be high performers, or think they want to be high performers. And then they get into an environment like this and they go, fuck, is this what a high performer is all about?
Exactly.
These people are broken. There's something wrong with these people. This is not for me. You're all freaks. I'm perfectly fine the way I am, but I'm out of here. And then you get the ones that come in and go, shit, I actually thought I was a high performer. I'm a performer, but I've been surrounded by geese.
Exactly.
I want that.
Yeah.
And then you get the ones that come in and just go, that deep
see
desire
it,
to be
have
the
it.
fucking
Yeah,
best.
yeah.
You know, you either want to be the fucking best or
Correct.
you're pretending.
100%. And you see that from day one. You see the way they take on tasks. It's not clock on, clock off, 8 till 4. Yeah, that might be
Fluffy,
your what's scheduled in, but it's the homework, you staying in, you coming back with additional things because it's of benefit not just to the business but to them personally as well.
So how do you look after your team? Because obviously when people work that hard, and this is something we've experienced, if you talented people have a tendency to burn out because they don't know how to take care of themselves in every situation, unless they've got a background in professional sports.
Yeah.
So one of the things we've learned is the importance of nurturing the talent so you don't break them.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you guys have done to take care of your team in order to make sure you don't break them?
In terms of making sure the balance is
How do you nurture your team?
is correct, and it depends on the person. I think everyone's got a different work-life balance.
Yep.
We do things internally, like we do every now and then, little activities and things like that to break things up, and we ensure that the heads of each department is aware of that to make sure that people aren't necessarily just all like, you don't want someone sitting at the computer all day smashing out emails, even if that's what the task is. You want them to clear their mind, to think clearly, because you want every single email response to be unique, authentic, and of value. It's not just copy and pasting like a robotic job. In terms of the work-life balance, making sure they do that themselves and things like that, it depends. Like you've got Justin here who his energy and his kick is the work. That's his escape in a way. That's what he enjoys so much. And that's like myself and that's like Alex. We work and life and it's all for us. It's
There's
all,
no line.
It's all one. So for us, it's very much finding the people. So for Justin, it would be like for us to say, hey, Justin, you need to go on holiday. You need to do this. You need to take a break. It would be like restraining him, putting him in a straitjacket. He wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, right.
So it's about for us finding the people and making sure that they are vocal with us. And in terms of rewarding the staff, and how do they maybe see with a young company like that, how do they have belief in us? It's us saying things and then those things
How you
manifesting.
show up.
So if we say something and it happens, or it happens tenfold bigger than what we said, all of a sudden it's like, okay, I believe them. Justin came on, he was motivated, keen, saw what we did. He was a hard worker, but he was like, he even says it to this day, he was skeptical as to if what we were saying was going to be true. Were we just going to be a flash in the pan?
We get that all the time, yeah.
And it's like, okay, small little ticks, small little checks. Do we work hard? Yes, we do. He's like, okay, these guys aren't just the guys who come in, flash, pretend that they work and then they're out. But we work harder than every single person in the office. So he ticked that off the box. Then he goes, okay, are we going to turn this over? We'd hit bigger sales than we predicted. And then again, proof of concept. And then all of a sudden you're drinking the same Kool-Aid, you buy into the brand, and then you're the same. He's now vocal for the brand. He's now predicting things. He's now going for exactly what we're going for. And as we build an army of people like that,
I love it.
it's unstoppable.
One of the things that we did is we noticed high performers working stupid hours. So some of our guys, our filmmakers, will be in here till like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And so we started to realise that there's a direct impact on like lifestyle, diet, nutrition, supplementation, hydration. So one of the things that we've been doing now for almost 2 years is we provide full range of supplements for all of our team. And we also give them the opportunity, every week we do shops, and so they can order whatever they want for breakfast, and they can order whatever they want. They can't, I'm not talking fucking delivery, I'm talking, okay, if you want, it's got to be healthy, no sugar in the office, unless it's hidden in your desk somewhere. But these guys have the ability to put it in order every week and go, well, you know, I want to be able to make this for breakfast, I want to be able to make this for lunch. And they fucking do.
That is good. Yeah.
But it's just one of those things, because one of the things I've identified is high performers, especially not if they don't come from a sporting background, they don't always know how to look after themselves.
Correct, yeah.
That is a very, very good point. And videographers that you touched on, that is a breed that could be caught working 24 hours at a time. Like literally, they'll be there, film, edit.
This is really good stuff, great stuff. I'm curious to know now, the core of your success has really come down to your influencer strategy. We've talked about the early days of how you just approached every man and his dog that had. Was there a criteria in the early days of like a minimum profile number? Was there?
For us, it was location based.
Right.
So we understood that it was for someone to make a decision to be interested in a brand. They couldn't just see one person, no matter how influential that person is. It has to be, they have to see multiple times and multiple people liking and talking about a product to then make a decision. So we really started to, okay, let's just focus on the East Coast of Australia as much as possible.
Right.
Let's just like
minimize distribution costs.
correct, logistics, distribution, and it was very likely then to have 5 people. So one customer see 5 people share about this new product that looks unbelievable, that everyone's saying is unbelievable, to then make a decision to buy the product. So that was our initial understanding of how do we be smart in the first 3 months with as many people as we can, and we just, from then on, we knew, like, lifestyle wise, they had to represent lifestyle. They had to represent our brand, which we believe was lifestyle, and it was more than just dental and very cosmetic based. We wanted to bring lifestyle to this industry.
So you guys hitting a lot of fit pros, fitness professionals,
We did at the start.
models,
Yeah, at the start.
glamour models. Yeah,
Definitely. Anyone, and the thing is, if they have people following them, they have an influence for a reason.
Yeah.
Why is that? And that's one thing that we're very big on. Whenever we work with influencers, we have to stress the fact, do it in your way. Don't do it in the preconceived way that you think we would want you to do
Yeah.
it. Do it in what represents you, and we will then be most successful.
and it's such a new, I'm sure you guys might, I don't know, but it's such a new strategy. And it's so immature in our country. I would say even worldwide. And the reason I say that, like, we get stupendous levels of reach, organic. Like 99% of what we do is fucking organic.
Yeah.
But not one business in Australia has approached us and gone, would you be willing to do?
Insane.
It's fucking nuts. Like, I'm literally,
crazy.
not that I would do it, but I just find it
But it's
incredible.
crazy that,
But the other thing is, like you said, it's so young that you've got leverage, right? You've got reach. Even something as simple as a cafe saying, come for a meal, video, bring the camera,
Yeah.
film it, put it on Facebook when you put up an episode, and there you go. It's like
Yeah.
little things that people just aren't that savvy.
Not on it. Not
They're
to
not willing to
yeah.
give you a product that they sell for $20. They probably make that meal for $5 for free to get reach, to get some other customers in who are going to spend 20 at a pop and bring 5 people in spending $20. They just don't think on that.
And I think that's where the opportunity is. It's like right now, 6% of, there's 66 million small business pages on Facebook. 6% are advertising. It's nuts, right?
It's insanity.
But it's almost, but if you were to then account for how many pages are actually doing influencer marketing, it would be a fraction
Yeah.
of a fraction of a fraction of a percent. So right now, this is where the opportunities are. And I think that's where you boys are really complete standouts. This really is going to be, like in 5 years' time, I think a lot of the opportunity is going to potentially be lost. 5 to 10 years. 10 years, okay, everyone's going to be, it would have been saturated. We would have moved on to the next thing. So I'm curious to know now, as your strategies evolve, initially you started to identify, people that were aligned based on location, but now, how has the strategy evolved?
Well, a lot more, like, while it is young, the influencers switched on because they still are getting hit up by a group of brands rather than a limited number. So they're a lot more starting to charge. You have to be a bit more savvy and witty because we're not just competing on, obviously anyone can come in and pay an influencer more. What do we have on our end? What are our strengths? Let's look at our strengths. We've got reach. They're shared on our page. We've got reach and we've got an audience now bigger than the majority of the influencers.
Because what's your Facebook?
Our Facebook number is 1 point something million,
Yep.
and the Instagram number is I think close to 700 or 700,000.
Yeah, 700.
And that in itself
Which
is like you built a $60 million business of 700,000, followers
Exactly.
on Insta, 1 million followers on Facebook.
Exactly.
Most people who have 1 million followers on Facebook can't even make 70 grand.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so
just
go on.
quickly, the reason why we are so successful in influencer marketing is because we have a clear objective of what we want to achieve.
Yep.
It is to
What is the objective?
to create a brand.
Yeah, right.
And they are the ones to push us and represent us on a brand level.
Yep.
Are we looking directly to make a direct sale from anyone? Absolutely not. Never, ever, ever have we looked and said it has to. There has to be an understanding of what is your objective that you want to achieve this. If you understand that as a business, it's very easy to then grow that very, very, very quickly. Where if you're trying to limit it down something that's almost impossible, you won't succeed as well as what you can if you, get the objective as soon as you possibly can.
So you're now working with the bigger influencers.
Yep.
You're working with the Kylie Jenners. You're working with the all the Jenner girls?
Kylie and Kendall.
Kylie.
and Kendall. Okay, Conor McGregor.
Yep.
What are some other big names you're working with?
They're definitely our biggest. We've worked with other athletes. So we actually off the back of Conor, we had a lot of athletes hit us up. So
Yeah, right.
Socceroo players, so players for the Australian football team, NRL players, basketballers overseas.
And who's hitting you up? Are they hitting you up directly or the management?
With them, it was them directly. But
I'm going to assume it's the younger NRL players.
it's
younger.
definitely the younger players. So a lot of the younger guys, after seeing Conor, social proof, they're like, oh, I want to get my hands on this product. So in exchange for a product, we'll do some posts. So that worked well for us as well. We are currently in talks with a few other bigger names, but we can't obviously mention just yet because we haven't really secured anything. But we're constantly looking and thinking, where's the attention? Who's got the attention of our target market, and how can they benefit our brand?
So how do you approach? Okay, because in the early days, you were
Yeah.
just you were very. I'm gonna assume it was guerrilla. You were going and doing hashtag searches, looking for people
Yeah.
in your industry based on location, finding them,
just smashing
and then
that.
direct message.
Yeah.
Send them a direct message. Say, hey, we have a product. Would like to get you to review it.
Definitely.
Okay, and in some cases I'd say, yeah, sure, send it across. And in some cases you were doing a discount for the product.
Yep.
And in some cases you're giving it away for free.
Exactly.
Now you're hitting up the big influencers. Like I want to work with Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Where the fuck do I start?
So pretty tactically, with a lot of them, with a lot of the bigger names like the Kardashians, it was a lot of talking to a few influencers and working with a few and then getting contacts off the back of that.
Yeah, right.
With, say, Connor, Google and LinkedIn, finding out who are the right people to talk to. It's the access is there. Conor
Yeah.
McGregor's agent, what's the agency, how do you get in touch, and then organising phone calls.
And I've seen the photo of you partying with
Connor.
Yeah. Have you had the time did you get any opportunity to connect with the guy? Or?
For a little bit, for a few minutes, we did have
Yeah.
a bit of a chat about the product and things like that. The guy, like, he loves it. We send him the toothpaste and the gels every single month for him and his girlfriend and
Yeah,
his
right.
coach. So they're all getting the product there.
Oh, notorious. That's fantastic.
No, he's a legend. He's got a character.
So did you guys deal with Kris Jenner when you were working with the Kardashian girls?
We did, yeah.
Directly?
They've got a team.
Yeah.
We dealt with her to get it over the line. So
Yeah.
she basically says yes or no. Because at the end of the day, you could throw whatever money you want at these people. Money, yes, it is what they are looking for, but at the same time,
they're looking for the same thing. You guys
they don't
are
want to
for.
diminish their brand.
Exactly.
He's a brand and she's a brand.
Yeah.
What do they stand for? Is this brand going to diminish their brand? If it doesn't, if it aligns with their brand, then okay, let's get it across the line.
And did you guys do telephone negotiations with Kris?
Yeah,
Jenner?
over the phone.
What's she like as a negotiator?
She's a genius and she's hard.
Yeah.
She's hard. She knows exactly what she wants. They're so smart. Like just the other week, the Super Bowl was on. Kylie had the baby a few days before that. She releases the baby news on the day of the Super Bowl, where the most attention is. She hadn't posted for a few months. It's like they just get attention and they get how people work and they get how to stay relevant.
Okay, so let's now move across to social media.
Yeah.
Like social media, it's changing the game. You know, even for old
God, yeah.
fellas like me, it's changed the game. Like when you actually use it. So for someone who's perhaps looking to start a business or they're already in business, what would be your advice when it comes to social media?
I think it's the key to social media is figuring out where the attention is and understanding how people work. So reverse engineering, what is your objective and how would you get them to do that? Is it to get more likes on the photo? Okay, to get more likes on this photo, I've posted a photo like this. I'm at the wharf I'm at the Sydney Harbour. I'll search Sydney Harbour on the geotags, see what photos are ranking for the top picks. Okay, these types of pics. It's got the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge in the background. So I'll post a pic of me, same location, pictured similarly because they're clearly getting a bit of interaction. They're standing out. Then use the right hashtags and then get people to like that post. Is it to grow your following? Okay, collaborations. Maybe you have to collaborate with people within that field. And just, basically reverse engineer what you want, understand where the attention is, and then pretty much execute.
Fantastic. You got anything to say on social?
On social, for us anyway, the biggest game changer, and I think you have to really work towards it and really work to understand it, is the Facebook ad platform.
Yeah, well, I think you nailed something there. It's a long game, right? And a lot of people are treating this like it's going to be a quick win.
We learn every single thing we know, and every success is from 100 failures every day. Every day.
Well, put it this way, on our personal brand, we put up a video every single day on YouTube. It's not pushed, it's put out there. And myself and Alex have been in multiple articles. You mentioned AFR, things like that. We've put a bit towards our personal brand, pushing a bit of budget on Facebook advertising. Our videos at the moment are getting 1,000 views every day, which looks minuscule in comparison to the money we've put towards building our brand, also the interviews, the time, the effort that we put towards doing things. It's still only getting 1,000 views per day. But for us, that's really good.
365,000 views a year.
Exactly. But for others, they see 1,000, but then they see Tammy Hembrow, who on her vlogs, or Logan Paul overseas, who's getting 3 million a day, 5 million a day. So for us, even though we've got the business like HiSmile, we're still able to pull back to the startup mentality and be like, we've just started. This is really good.
And I think that's a real key in staying lean is that startup mentality.
God, yeah.
Never losing that.
Definitely.
Jim Collins calls it productive paranoia, where at no point do you ever get fucking comfortable, and you are constantly thinking, I could be put out of business tomorrow.
Exactly.
I don't know if you've heard of the nightmare memorandum, the nightmare memo that Bill Gates sent to his entire team. I think it was in 2000. They just had their biggest year at Microsoft in the history of the company. Apple was struggling, and he sent this memo to the whole team going, I had a nightmare last night, and the nightmare was we get completely destroyed by Apple. All these people come in, and they have just finished their big year. Everyone's at a big high, and he comes and he just... some people look at it and go, wow, he crushed the spirit. He goes, no, let's get fucking humble. Let's stay humble.
Exactly. That's the thing. Back to the thing that I sort of use is like, pat yourself on the back, but then straight away kick yourself in the ass. Don't get complacent, just like, oh, you're so good, you're really good. Because you're going to naturally get people, especially if you put yourself out there, you're going to get media outlets and things sort of buttering you up, and it sounds good. It's a nice fairy tale story. 2 young guys from the Gold Coast turned over this much money. Oh my God, it's amazing. But it's like, kick yourself in the bum. Keep going. Like, it's not that's motivating. You want to be the best at what you do. Keep going.
And the more we look at it, the more that it's like, when we really break it down, we're doing 0.1% right. I promise you, I'm not talking shit.
No, I get it.
0.1% we are doing right.
Yeah.
There is this massive area that we still do so wrong. And it's only because we love to look and find how do we take us and make us better.
Yeah. Success blunts you. It doesn't make you sharp. You know,
very easily I could flip it and say, oh, we're doing 99% right.
Yeah.
Very easily.
Yeah.
But you have to, if we want to be the biggest company that Australia has ever seen, we have to have that mindset every single day and be consistent with it. So
I'm going to jump back a little bit before I jump forward. You talked about the ad platform, the Facebook ad platform, which I think is the greatest invention in the history of marketing. 6% of fucking businesses advertise on it, which is just nuts.
Insane.
I'm not shocked by the ads that I see. I'm shocked by the ads that I don't see. Now, I don't see my local hairdresser. I don't see my local mechanic. I don't see a local accountant. You know, you see the same crap up there pretty much all the time.
Exactly.
What is it that you've fundamentally learned about the platform that you could say that would make someone go, shit, maybe I need to actually have a look at this?
I think the key is, well, the thing to get people to look at it is the attention on Facebook is ridiculous. Every single person has a Facebook account, and every single person mindlessly scrolls on that account. Now, to have a successful account, it's how do you, within the noise of memes, little cat videos and things like that, how do you have a thumb stopper piece of content?
Oh, I like that thumb stopper, yeah.
So how you're on Facebook, especially me, Instagram, maybe I'm a bit more sort of diligent and gentle with it and I want to see the photos. Facebook, I'm mindlessly scrolling until something catches my eye. How does your advertisement, how does your piece of content stop their thumb? So with little tactics, breaking down things, testing, A/B testing, the same type of content but styled differently. And then that's how you can become successful on Facebook.
How important is a thumbnail on a promotional piece?
Very important.
How important is the headline?
Important.
Okay.
Every single detail is
minuscule
important.
detail has to be.
Okay.
But that's not from us saying we just know it because we know it. That's from, again, we know it because
exactly.
Measuring
like insane amount of testing in the last 2 years. How much we've tested it. It's insane.
You've got to think at every scenario, hard coding subs, testing that out, because some people, if you're somewhere where it's silent, if you're at work or at a bus stop or in a library, you're not going to listen to that full blast. They're not going to watch it when they get home, so you need to cater for them. Maybe
85% of people watch videos on Facebook in silence.
But this is what I want to challenge new businesses on new people starting a new business. For you to test and for you to fail, it takes time more than it does money. It takes like a crazy amount of time, not just to create the piece, but then create the piece and then learn and figure out why it's doing either very well or why it's doing not so well. That's time. That doesn't take, it takes a bit of budgets that you put to it, but it's more time than it is anything else. And that's what I feel people don't put enough in.
And do you think it's because they don't have the patience?
Because
I think patience.
That
patience,
instant mentality?
Instant gratification.
The microwave success?
The spoil, microwave success, Happy Meal diets.
Yep.
Like if something's a flash in the pan or something's super appealing, people would rather grab to the Happy Meal success, how to lose weight in 1 week rather than how to sustain a diet and how to lose
your life
and
maintain it.
And you nailed it. Like, and this is what I say to people: don't make your business, don't treat your business like a fucking diet. Don't treat your business like a fucking event. It has to be a lifestyle. You're either in it or you're not. You're either living this
100%,
or you're not.
You see the people like the Happy Meal diets. They go, they do something. It might be almond diet or something, just eat almonds all week, or brown rice diet, and you do it, but that's not sustainable. That's not a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yes, you lost weight. Was it successful? Was it the objective ticked? Yes, because you've got the wrong objective. You don't actually want that. You don't actually just want to lose weight in a week. You want to live a better life.
Right,
Yeah.
So
So I've noticed that you guys pivoted now into putting some focus into your personal brand.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting when you think about it that there have been, people that have been doing this for a while that we were completely unaware of. Exactly. When you look at the Steve Jobs, especially, and the personal brand that I think has done it the best, unconsciously, is Richard Branson.
Oh.
When you look at what he's done, over the years, I actually think he's one of the greatest personal brands that this world has ever seen from a commercial perspective. We now have entrepreneurs who are the equivalent of movie stars today, that we've got the celebrity.
Exactly.
At what point did you guys make that? Because I get this all the time, plumbers, electricians, lawyers, well, you're telling me I should become a personal brand? I'm like, yeah. So at what point did you guys make the pivot and go, shit, we need to start investing some time and some money into our personal brand so that we've actually got something off the back of this? Because I'm going to assume at some point, are you guys building to exit at some point, or is this like, I love you. I love you.
Like, this is our life.
Oh my God.
Like, it is literally, it's
oh
like,
my God, I love these boys, honestly. But because so many, that mentality, build to sell, and I'm just like, you know what? And I used to think that way.
But even like they have their objective and they run the business the way that they run it. But it's like, this is deeply
This is your
ingrained.
life.
This is like, and it's a life that
that's why we can run the true marathon.
Yeah.
That's why if you're running to exit, there is an end point.
Yeah.
This is running the full marathon. Whatever happens in between, but if our focus is to the day we are gone, it's like when nothing matters tomorrow. Nothing
So an
matters
investment
the
bank
next
rolls up and they go, okay, we'd like to write you a check for $4 billion.
Guaranteed not.
Yeah.
because the lifestyle.
He
and
thought
everything,
about it.
No. If there's one person who wouldn't, I can guarantee it's too deep.
There's the lifestyle. You can't buy the lifestyle that we enjoy. Yes, with the money you could do whatever, you could travel, but I love work. I love working, and I love the work that we're in. I love seeing other people flourish and seeing their careers go from where they were at the start to the next level, and being along on that journey and pivoting and changing and being really good at something and then being a disaster at something else and picking up new skills. It's like everything in between. And I don't know if there's anything else in this world that would give me that satisfaction.
And I completely agree. And what's interesting is early in my career, and I mean early 18 years ago, I drove a beautiful car. I had like a big extensive wardrobe, but I was literally fucking struggling. I was fast forward now, more money than I've ever had in my life before. I dress like a bum. Okay, I barely even remember to shave once. If I'm lucky, I'll shave once a week, and I use clippers because it's hard. Let's be honest, I haven't had a haircut in at least 6 weeks. I live in a very modest house, and the only thing that I have that I would say could hang a hat on and go, okay, I'll put some money into a car because it's stupidly fast. But I think that's the difference. When you guys represent it. I see. You dress a little bit bum like, but you're a little bit more stylish than me. They are a lot more stylish. Look at him.
Simple, stylish, experience.
I didn't fucking miss it. I didn't miss it. I was like, I can see it.
Simple,
I can see it.
yes. Is it style? Yes.
I
You
can see
picked it.
We almost have the same tailor.
Yeah.
So personal branding, you would agree it's important.
Yeah.
Where do you start?
Understanding what do you want to achieve with the personal branding. For us, our personal brand, we did not want to sell more HiSmile kits.
Yep.
We did not want to start anything off the back of it. We actually started it out as a bit of a test for ourselves. It's a different form of marketing, different form of advertising. At school, public speaking was my most hated thing. Even one-on-one interaction, speaking to someone that I've never met, my most hated thing. Nerves, trembling, wouldn't want to rock up to class. Up to the age of 17, 18. So something like this, getting on stage, it's breaking that mold. The only way to do it is by diving head first. And now I love it. I embrace it. I want to do it more and more. And
Definitely.
yeah,
Hit the nail on its head.
That's fantastic.
it started as that, and now it's like, okay, it's a test, it's a challenge. How big can we get? What can we do? And we're inspiring people along the way, which is awesome.
And this
We've
is
got a new beginner sort of feel for it. So we're putting ourselves so deep, like what you were saying before, so deep at the start.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, the competitive nature's there. Now it's like, I want to have a sold out stadium of just like the vision's as big as you can imagine for it. So
you guys want to teach? You want to teach what you're doing?
not like, I just want the morals of
Or share.
More share. So this is what we're doing, and watch what we're doing and do it.
right.
So every now and then we do talks and things like that, but we never script. We're not good at scripting things.
Yeah.
We just have to go off the
hate
cuff. We have to make
PowerPoints.
mistakes.
I just want to share what I truly know from living this every single day.
We've tried script. It doesn't work. We've tried and we break.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, in my mentality, if I've scripted something and if I was supposed to say, good morning, my name is Nik, and accidentally I said, hello, all of a sudden I'm incorrect. I'm wrong. I stuffed it up. Even though it made sense, I'm wrong. Whereas now I can get up and say whatever I want. I'm right because it's present tense. And that's what throws me off.
And when we're doing that, we're just literally saying what we truly live and breathe every single day. Where if it's scripted, it's not pure. It's
Actually,
not pure, and you're
someone from the
losing.
team, I think, sent through Justin or Sean a range of sort of similar how this will run, but I purposely didn't open it because I'm like, if I open it, I'm going to throw myself off.
I'm exactly the same. Like whenever I go into an interview, I just don't look at the questions. I don't want to know. I want to go in there fresh.
Rather answer.
I love
Organic.
that.
If you ask me something and I don't know, I would rather answer that I don't know rather than me searching something and coming in like I'm an expert. And then you ask me something else on the back of it, shit, I didn't use Google to find it out. So I start sweating. But now at least I'll answer what I know. I'll stay in my lane and everything else is...
It's fantastic. So the personal brand, the intent behind that is just to share.
Yeah.
That's pure. I love it. That's absolutely fantastic. So, boys, first of all, where can people come and watch your journey? Because I think I've watched a few of your videos already. Yeah. I'm loving the creativity, and because you've only got one filmmaker, right?
Yeah, one filmmaker.
And you're punching out one video a day
Every single day.
How long is that video?
It varies. On average, it's about 10 minutes. So basically, we started just documenting it, but it didn't suit us. We want to be simple, stylish, and an experience.
Yep.
So we don't want to just document what we do. We want to make it an experience and creative. We want to so we're making it funny, entertaining, mixing, matching, constantly adapting. We don't have one set style. Whenever he edits it and it's the same for a week, if we've got the same sort of feel, I'm like, nah, change it, jump cut, miss this. Be okay. We're okay with missing some golden nuggets. Yeah. Because at the end of it, we're putting content out every single day and we can learn from it every single day.
But because it's interesting, because I've been challenging my my video team recently
to
about
punch
out, because we want to become more current. Like we started the social experiment almost 2 years ago, but we're still 18 months behind, year behind. Okay. I won't go into the story as to how we fell behind, but we fell behind. And I started saying to the guys, because we're not just doing video blogs, we're actually doing like short, inspirational videos as well. And we're crushing it.
They're going off,
Oh, but where we're missing is the currency of the vlog.
Where you at now? Yeah.
Exactly. And so I sat down with a team and I was like, guys, this is where it's at. And they're like, Kerwin, you got a choice. We can increase production, but we're going to decrease quality. Like, no, that's not the way we think. Yeah. Roger Bannister, the 4-minute mile was considered fucking impossible for decades.
Exactly.
Until he did it in the next 12, like literally 2 days, I think it was a week, 6 days later, another fucking dude did it. Next 12 months, 6 other people did it. And so, and I said to the guys, what's your 4-minute mile? Because right now, you're not limited by what you can produce. You're limited by what you can think you can produce.
That's the thing. Breaking the mold and finding ways. It was a challenge at the start. And the biggest thing is, each videographer, every creative has their own way of doing things. Yeah. It's about breaking that mold as well and figuring out what's the most efficient way to get the good quality piece out.
Because I literally went into the video, boys, and I was like, boys, these guys are putting a blog out every day and they got one fucking dude. Yeah. What's the problem?
Pull from both ends at all times, consistently, like how we run the business, how we do our personal brands, how we do anything we do. How do we pull extremely from both ends? Yeah. How do we produce content every day and how do we make it interesting every day?
Last question. We're over time, but fucking love this conversation. We're going to get you boys back. We've got some other stuff.
Round 2. Let's see where we're up to.
How do you guys manage a relationship outside of business?
Yeah, I've got a partner. Alex has a partner too.
So how? And again, I hear this all the time. You guys are clearly on the younger end of the spectrum. Yeah. So I'm going to assume maybe not engaged yet, not kids yet. Okay, that you know of. How do you manage a healthy relationship when you're working so hard?
Balance. There's nothing more that really sums up a lot to what we do in balance, and even the pulling from both everything that we do and every right decision that we make is with balance. If you focus on balance, you make the right decision.
And I like what I think Gary Vaynerchuk says, where it's like it's not the time that you spend, it's the quality of the time that you spend. It's being fully there. So when I'm with my partner, with my family, it's me there, whereas a lot of people are there physically but not there emotionally, not invested, not truly there. And I think that's it. And it's about the partner as well, understanding the perspective and understanding what's involved with it.
So how can people follow the personal journey? Where can they go to? Because it's Nik and Alex.
Nik and Alex. So it's basically, the show is called Growing Up with Nik and Alex. We post every single day, weekdays only. So Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Queensland time. So what's that? 5 p.m. now. That's daylight savings here in New South Wales.
And that's on YouTube?
That's on YouTube.
Yep.
You can visit our website, www.nikandalex.com.au. So we post, again, the content is posted on our website as well. You can apply for jobs, read up a bit more about us. Any events that are coming up that we're going to be speaking at or attending, we'll be posted on that as well.
And for everyone out there with yellow teeth that needs to smile a little bit brighter, where can they go to find out how to smile like a Conor McGregor? You boys have really fucking white teeth.
Just hit us at HiSmile. If you search HiSmile on Instagram, Facebook, wherever it is, you'll see it.
You'll see it. It's fucking everywhere, let's be honest.
It's everywhere. We'll probably find you before you find
Yeah, I
it.
think so.
Nik and Alex, boys, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having us, Kerwin.
Fantastic. There you have it, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Unstoppable with me, your host, Kerwin Ray. And do me a favor, don't forget to drop me a review on iTunes. Would love to hear what you think. I love reading what you guys have to say. And your reviews make sure we keep creating killer content just like this. If you want to stay up to date with me and all my movements, please jump onto the website, kerwinray.com. And also check us out on social media at Kerwin Ray.